An SUV that anyone could look at and know that it's tough and powerful. Those are the exact words that Mazda uses to describe this vehicle, and is their entire philosophy behind making this car. I'm Nile.
I'm Jen.
This is PRN Test Drive.
And this is the 2023 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition.
Let's go take a look. Well, the Mazda CX-50 launched a little while ago. We kind of missed the boat on it, so this isn't necessarily new for the market, but it is new for us here on Test Drive. And the 2024s have been announced, but I've been assured by Mazda that it's really just suspension and steering tuning that has changed. So for the most part, this is what you're going to be getting in 2024. $50,000 for this in Canada, about $43,000 almost.
Now.
Is pretty expensive, but Mazda says that this is meant to be a vehicle that is more geared towards the outdoor type of person, people that like to go and do things outside. Clearly, I'm the right person to be reviewing this because I am always outdoors. I just love doing outdoor stuff, like, you know,
Yes.
being outdoors. But let's talk a little bit about what's under the hood here, because I think it's going to be coming up quite a bit on our review here, because it is the same 2.5 liter turbo Skyactiv G engine that we've seen for quite a while now. Produces 256 horsepower with 93 octane and 320 pound-feet of torque. Again, with 93 octane, you're getting 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque if you're using regular 87. I think that's the theme of this, right? You seem to think that this looks identical to a CX-5.
I feel that it's a chunkier version of it.
The CX-5 is like a Kit Kat, and this is like a Kit Kat chunky.
Yes.
Well, we do have these little eyebrows here that go on top of the
Yes.
headlights, and I noticed, I don't know if it's the same on that side, but at least on the driver's side here, there's like an inch gap between the actual bezel and the headlight, but whatever. I think it has a good look. Now, is this something that the average consumer is going to look at and go, wow, that definitely is tough and powerful? I don't know, maybe. I mean, all the unpainted plastic cladding is designed to be more for that off-road, not off-road like climbing up a hill, but the person who's going on a trail. As you can see here, it's unpaved. This is sort of where the CX-50 Meridian Edition would be living. We have the decal on the top here that says CX-50 Meridian Edition, very cool. But you really do think that it's just a cookie cutter Mazda?
Yes, I do feel that the design language of Mazda overall is all the same.
Well, it is true. I mean, they do kind of keep the corporate image, and aside from a few brands out there, it's kind of the way it is now. I mean, everybody just takes one design and enlarges it or shrinks it depending on what size segment they need to be in. So Mazda's not necessarily doing anything different.
Disagree.
Not everybody. There
There's
are
some brand
a
out
couple
there
brands.
quite unique.
Yeah, there's a couple, I think, you know, luxury brands, premium brands, consumer brands. Everybody now is just taking one design and running with it for everything that they make. So I do see that there is a difference between this and the CX-5 that we had back in 2017. I do feel that it is wider. There's a stance to it. And Mazda's design philosophy with this was to make it more of a wagon style SUV. So I feel it's longer, which it is. It is longer than the CX-5. It is wider than the CX-5, has 4 millimeters more ground clearance than the CX-5, and it's 55 millimeters shorter with the overall height. Mazda says they've done that so that it's easier to put things up on the roof. But let's go inside. We'll take a look at the inside there because it is pretty similar to the other Mazdas we've driven. So let's hop in where it isn't quite as windy.
Well, we are inside.
Are we?
Yes, and I have a strange feeling of deja vu here.
What makes you say that?
Well, everything looks like a 2017 Mazda CX-5.
Well, I'll correct you there. I know that you're trying to be facetious. It's a 2020 because that's when they updated the infotainment system and the HVAC controls and the steering wheel. But yes, I know what you mean. It is kind of what we've seen now for the last like 4 years from Mazda.
The look is quite similar.
But yeah, it depends on.
There's a lot of buttons.
There is, yeah, and that's what's good, right?
I mean, some people like buttons.
If you like buttons, you got them all. All the HVAC controls have buttons.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of buttons to the left of the steering area here. You've got controls everywhere. So I mean, that's always good. But yeah, it is pretty similar to what we saw on especially the CX-5. I think the last one we drove was like 21, and more or less all the same. One notice that I found is we put it into sport mode, the gauge cluster changes into red.
Wow.
It's really cool.
That's amazing engineering right there.
Yeah.
It is.
But aside from that, though, I mean, I find it's comfortable. It's certainly spacious in the back seat, and the trunk is like enormous. I'd say that this definitely is the biggest crossover that we've featured in the compact segment. That trunk space is like almost mid-size, if not larger, in terms of how much space you get in there. And again, that goes to what Mazda's designing. They wanted to have a longer, wider, shorter vehicle, and that's kind of what they've come up with now. Now again, does it translate to everybody who's going to be looking at it? Are they going to figure out is it powerful? Like I don't know. I mean, in the segment, sure, 250-ish horsepower is pretty decent, but powerful, I don't know. I mean, 3,000 pound tow rating, it's not over the top. Again, for compact, it's not bad.
But again, it's for camping, I think.
Yeah,
like
that's what it is.
The trunk is big enough to put like a tent and maybe like a couple of camping equipment, or even anything that you do outside.
Well,
right?
yeah, and that's why they say like the roof is shorter so you can get onto it. If we went with the Meridian Edition with the Apex package, it would have the roof rails and a little shelf on top. I said no to it because, again, we're not doing any outdoor stuff here. But you do get some stuff with the Meridian trim, right? It is the top end trim. Obviously, you're getting the turbocharged engine, but you're getting the 18-inch black metallic alloys. I think they look really good. All-terrain Falcon tires. Now, we'll talk about that on the road test, but these are more off-roady kind of tires. They don't sound like it. There's plenty of vehicles we've tested that are more off-road oriented, and you can just hear them like crazy when you're driving around. Not so much with these. You get those headlamp garnishes, so the eyebrows, hood graphic that says CX-50 Meridian Edition, and then these side rockers have a little bit of a garnish on it too. So mostly cosmetic. It adds like $2,000 almost on top of what the GT would have, but for the most part, I mean, it's what a fully loaded CX-50 has to offer. But I like it. I mean, it's spacious enough. Big guy like me, I fit. You know, you seem to fit pretty well. And aside from that, all the tech that you want, right? Dual zone climate, heated and ventilated front seats, head-up display, navigation, 360 cameras, pano roof, finally, something that Mazda hasn't had on any of their vehicles before. So that is definitely a nice thing to have. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something new, you know, Mazda says it's all new. And yeah, I mean, it's a vehicle they've never made before, but all the parts are from the parts bin, aren't they?
I mean, it's the design language is quite conservative, I feel.
Yeah, but maybe it works, right?
I think it can work for some people, but I just think that if we compare it to other manufacturers, it's quite conservative.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they've sold quite a few of these so far, but I mean, it's far from the CX-50 or the CX-5, which is their core model, and this is not replacing the CX-5. The CX-9 has been replaced by the CX-90, which we're going to be featuring next week. But at least for North America, which this vehicle is a North American specific vehicle, that's kind of where they designed it. According to Mazda, we've got these huge open vistas of just empty wilderness that all North Americans go and explore constantly. So that's, again, why it's not necessarily the vehicle for everyone. But I would say that if you're in the market for a Subaru Outback Wilderness, you might want to consider this too. Pricing is about the same. The Subaru is a couple thousand less for that trim, but you're not getting all the features. If you get a limited, I think it is, with all the features, it's pretty much the same price. So they're both in the same ballpark here, but I think we should take it on the road, see, not so much off-road, we'll take it off here, but we'll take it on the road and see what the Mazda CX-50 has to offer and everything else about this if you are in the market for this vehicle and want to know a little bit more about it.
So we're going to go off-roading a bit. You guys ready?
Well, this actually might be what Mazda expects people to be doing, right? It's kind of like gravel. Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, as our regular viewers here on Test Drive know, this is like episode 575, and I've driven, like 500 cars on Test Drive. This is the second one now that I haven't actually been driving. The other one was the 1990 BMW M, or is the 850. I don't like being a passenger, but I'm doing this for you viewers out there. As we're going through the moon here, all the craters.
But it's off-roading, you said, right?
Well, yeah, again, like this, if this is what maybe the designer and engineers have never been to North America and they just expect everything to be like that, but
no, they never been to a place where there's a lot of potholes. Yeah. That's the thing.
It handled it pretty well. I'd say it was pretty good.
It was bumpy.
Of course, because you're going through potholes, but like it didn't hurt.
No.
right? Like it was a soft bump. So I think it did a pretty good job. And again, if this vehicle is meant to be an outdoor lifestyle vehicle, then the type of people who are going to be buying it, maybe they're going to go camping, like you said. Maybe they're going to go. They have a kayak. They got a couple boats they put on top. So
sure.
the roads to get there might be gravel. So I think it works fine, and that's part of the reason why the trim is all unpainted. It's plastic cladding to make it a little bit more durable. The wider track and longer wheelbase and all that kind of goes into the overall ride. So I get it.
You're like putting a lot of things on that toast. Like, you know, this it's like the best thing since sliced bread right now.
Well, no, but we have to think of what Mazda's trying to do here, right? And we're trying to answer the question: is this a vehicle that everybody would look at and be, oh, it's powerful? And
I don't know. I'm not looking
rugged.
at it to say it's powerful.
I think it's rugged. I think they got the rugged part 100%. There's no doubt about it that it looks like a vehicle that you would do outdoorsy kind of stuff with.
For sure, 100%.
But is it powerful? I don't know. I mean, like it's sporty enough.
It is.
Even in sport mode, like, I mean, it's...
Are we in sport mode?
We're not. I can put it in it. There you go. Like, ooh, it's all red.
Oh my God, it turns red.
It's all red.
It's
but,
awesome.
You know, talking about how this isn't necessarily anything new, and it's from the parts bin, well, so is the engine, right? Like, we've seen this engine. It was the engine on the CX-9, and then they added it to the CX-5. And
it's like a noise for the engine. It's like Fast and Furious here.
I think that's just the engine noise.
Is it?
But yeah, I mean, it's it's a crossover, right?
Oh no.
Does a pretty good job doing what it needs to. As a passenger, I definitely still think that there's quite a bit of space, and even if my daughter was behind, she'd still have pretty good amount of space you're considering. Like, I mean, I could move up if I really had to. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm comfy. I like the seats.
Would you travel a long haul with it?
Yeah, if you watched all 100 of you that watched our last video on the Jeep Compass when we took it to Michigan, you'll know that after a little while we were getting pretty, not tired, but the seats like kind of got to you. I'd say that these would definitely be a lot more comfortable. It's just, the problem is it's been a while since we had the CX-5, so I don't remember how that compares to it, but I gotta say I like the terracotta leather interior on here. It is a nice color.
It's growing on me. I'm not so much of a color person in the interior. Usually I just like black, but it's pretty nice.
I think it has a good contrast with the polymetal gray metallic paint on the outside.
That's the name of the color?
It is pretty nice. It's like a bluish gray. I dig it. I think it's a good looking color for it. And I mean, it's not anything different. I was at Starbucks today behind pretty much the same color in a CX-5.
Really? See?
But they are different.
The same thing.
But for the most part, it's what you would expect a Mazda to be.
I mean, I'm a short person, and I'm like 5'5", and I feel that it's comfortable. The seat it's not plush though. It's a bit,
well, they're firm.
It's firm.
But we're also spoiled too with our normal daily car that I like to drive.
Yes.
So that's something else we got to consider too. Well, I think we should pull over and swap over and then see what I think.
Oh, and now I have to be the passenger. Okay.
Well, we're at a stop here, and we can talk about the iStop system, the auto stop start. It's a little rough, not quite as smooth as it is on pretty much any other vehicle we've tested. I do find that it doesn't quite turn on as quickly as it should, so you could defeat the system. It's a little button, it's kind of hidden on the left there. So as I mentioned, Mazda says that they're tuning a little bit of the suspension and steering, which I don't think really needs it. We went over the moon a little earlier ago, and I think it was pretty smooth. Steering is firm on this. If you like a firm steering setup, something like a BMW, then this is going to be for you. If you're not into that, if you like it to be soft, then maybe don't buy it. But it feels heavy. Like, it almost feels like there's not power steering in it, but that's the way that Mazda's engineered it. They want it to be just like the Mazda 3 when I drove with the GT. Like, it's meant to be kind of a firm, sportier feel. So that's something to note. But aside from that, though, like, I do like the overall drive of it. There we go. Give it a little rip. It gets the job done.
It's moving.
It's moving, yeah.
It's moving.
I wouldn't, if I'm getting ahead of traffic, I wouldn't have any problems there, right? 250-ish horsepower. Let's say 227, right? Because I don't know who put fuel in here last. I haven't filled it up since I picked it up, so let's assume it was regular. I think that's more than
Do you
enough.
have to put regular?
Well, it's funny because to get the most performance, you have to put 93, which you can't really even get here in Canada. You have to go to like a couple gas stations sell it. 91 sort of our premium.
Oh.
But then it says fuel recommended regular
Oh,
on the
okay.
spec sheet.
Okay,
so
so
I don't know. I think
mean,
most people are going to put regular, but
probably. It's too expensive anyway,
a
right?
little bit. Road noise, compared to the Jeep that we drove last, it is better. But there is still some road noise. You know, if Mazda really wants to elevate themselves to the premium segment, they're going to have to do things like acoustic lamination on the front, maybe add a little bit more sound deadening on the inside. But yeah, it's not bad overall. I'd say that it really is, even the evolution of the CX-5 isn't quite the right word, because it's not really an evolution. It's really more like, it's like a sidestep, right? It's going up a little bit, it's going sideways a little bit, right? It's not really like a full step up, because it's like, it's sort of going towards the segment that I guess exists out here, right? There are outdoor people. I'm sure some of you in the comments can let us know if this would be a vehicle that you'd be interested in based on what Mazda thinks us here in North America do, but wouldn't be a vehicle that I would pick. And not because I don't like the drive or the interior or the color, but I'm just not an outdoorsy kind of person.
Yeah, we are not, no.
Yeah, we are not, believe it or not. This might be a surprise to you viewers out there, but the two of us, this is my boo-boo damo, and we're trying something out here to see if we can make a go of it, a video.
If we can get along.
We've survived 12 years together. Can we survive 12 minutes doing a video? And you tell us what you think. But yeah, we are not outdoorsy people, so this would not be the type of car that we would purchase. But I mean, like I said, I really think the direct competitor to this is the Subaru Outback, and I would not buy the Subaru Outback. I would buy this if those were the two choices.
Yeah. But I think we also like to do we like to take big road trip, a long road trip. So I think that we also always mindful of something that's comfortable and everything.
Yeah.
So our current car that we drive is perfect for that. I mean, this one I cannot see myself going on a long road because the seats are quite firm. It's comfortable in a way, kind of thing. I mean, for a short, but I feel that it's.
But that is one nice thing about the Meridian Edition, even though this is meant for doing sort of off-the-road kind of stuff with the all-terrain Falcon tires, it doesn't sound like it. I've driven some pickup trucks and some other SUVs that are more just like this, kind of more off-roady, and those tires can be really loud. So at least if you do buy this to use it on the road like we are right now, it's not the end of the world. But yeah. I think that's about it for our video here on the 23 Mazda CX-50. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear your comments below as well, so let us know what you think of this video. Did you like the two of us doing these videos together? If so, we will make it happen again. If you don't, then let us know as well. And
it will not happen again.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't usually listen, but yeah, if you guys really didn't like it, then we won't do it again. But thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.
Bye.